Start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Teresa. Please take the roll.
Okay, Mayor Jones.
Here.
Brenneman.
Here.
Keel.
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
Wolflager.
Here.
And Mattson and Jass are absent with notice.
All right, do we have any additions or a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda. Sorry.
Second that.
Thank you.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote. Wasslager, yes. Brennan?
Yep.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
How about a motion to approve the minutes from the, whatever date that was, to April 2nd meeting?
I move to approve the minutes from the February, or not April 2nd, 2024 meeting.
February or April?
April 2nd. Second. There's a little touch of dyslexia there, 2442.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote. Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Wasslager? Yes. All right, bills in your packet. Do we have any action on that?
Motion to approve the bills as submitted.
Second.
Any discussion? I have one, and this is really probably minor. The sports committees like soccer, softball, baseball, would it be appropriate for us to ever ask them to help kick in for porta potties or anything?
We've talked at the park board about
Okay.
if they donate, not specifically
I-
the porta potties, but if, to charge them a little bit of a fee for use, and
I mean, it's really minor.
as of now, we don't.
I almost don't even want to bring it up, but I just thought,
Yeah. There was
they are using our
last year,
facilities and we're covering everything else for them, right? We're doing all the mowing, all the other
covering
stuff.
everything, yeah.
Just a thought. Maybe at some point you guys can, I'll let you
Park board.
carry the nail on that. Anything else anybody else got? All right, if not, we'll vote. Wasslager?
Yes.
Brenneman?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
All right, public comments, anybody that's not on the agenda would like to speak? I think I know the name, Kipley, right?
Yes, it is. Dan Kipley, candidate for Minnehaha County Commission. Just wanted to come over and introduce myself. Thank you for doing a great job as far as in your community. And one of the big things that I hope I can continue to help with is in the fire and the rescue side. We have great volunteers in your community, and we want to continue to support them at the county level. There's other things that'll come up as far as related to the county is I have a long-standing relationship with Amy Farr right now. She doesn't like me, but most days she does. And I have a
I know that
history.
feeling.
I have a history of economic development. I worked for the governor's office of economic development back in the early 2009 to 11 to 14 roughly during Governor Dugard's administration, and still involved in economic development. I'm retired. The new word I've coined with a friend of mine is I'm preferred now. I only do what I prefer to do. So that includes playing with the grandkids, hopefully a little golf, I do some consulting, and now I prefer to hopefully serve the county as a commissioner. So the vote is on June 4th for the GOP primary. There are 4 Republicans running for 2 seats. The other person that's running for re-election is Dean Karski. He's currently the chair. So he and I are doing a lot of campaigning together, and we hope that we can win the support of the voters of Minnehaha County. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them. Otherwise, since you're having a meeting, I don't have to buy the first round now. But
Darn it.
anyway,
What's one thing, I do have a couple questions.
Fire away.
Hey man, you're here, so I bet
Yeah,
I might as well ask.
Fire away.
So what's one thing that you would like to personally accomplish for the county? I guess, yeah, that'd be my first question. If you have one goal, one thing to accomplish.
well, I think the one thing that I've been talking to, I've been meeting with department heads and other elected officials. I had a 2-hour meeting with the sheriff's department, a nice meeting with the human resources department and others. The one thing that I plan to do is, right now, over 41% of the county staff, there's 600 employees, over 41% of them have been with the county less than 4 years. The example that I use is a few years ago in my business, I had a young lady, I was telling her how great a job she was doing, and she was in her 20s. And I said, keep up the good work. She'd been there less than 90 days, but I was making sure that I was reinforcing that she was doing a good job. And you know what her response was? Could you put that on Facebook so my parents will know that I'm doing okay? And I kind of went like that, and I thought, okay, I'm too old for this. But I realized at that point in time that we have to reinforce, and the county has the same issues that every private business has right now, recruitment and retention. In the county level, most of our retention issues come, we lose not a lot, we lose some to the city of Sioux Falls. The city has always been paying better than the county. The county's doing a study this summer, hopefully, making sure that we're competitive. But along with that, what I plan on doing, and I plan on working with Lincoln County on this, I've visited with Commissioner Jim Schmidt. What we will be starting is a podcast. And I really don't care if no one listens to the podcast other than the 600 employees and their families. But what the podcast is going to be is reinforcing how well our employees are doing. And what we want to do is invite guests on that podcast every week from Lincoln or Minnehaha County. And it might be a 40-year snowplow driver and a snowplow driver that's only been there 6 months. But we're going to be thanking them for their service. Well, what I'm learning is the younger generation needs to be reinforced, and we have to continue to tell them thank you. And that's one thing, by saying thank you, it doesn't cost the taxpayers any money. And I think that's the first thing that we want to do, is we want to reinforce to our employees that they're doing a good job. Because if it's not reinforced, they'll think they'll go across the street for 10 cents more an hour. And I've been in the business with CDL drivers. You see CDL drivers that the wages keep going up. If there's no loyalty there, they'll jump for 50 cents an hour.
Right.
So when you say that's the first thing, that's one of the first things I hope to get off the ground. And everybody that I talk to, other commissioners, say it's a great idea.
One more question since you're up here. We hear a lot about, cost of living's going up, taxes, all of those things, right? I don't think there's one person that says, man, I wish my taxes would go, I'm not gonna get into that conversation, but where can the taxpayer save? Like, do you have anything in mind, like one thing in particular, where something you could do? Maybe it's, what do you see within the Minnehaha County Commission where we can make it better to save taxpayer money? I guess, and that's kind of a general question, but is there anything in there that maybe could run more efficiently, or maybe we have too many people in one department and you kind of need to?
That's a good question, and I've just started to dig into it. I'm meeting with all the department heads and things, but the one thing that I am learning quickly is for round numbers, let's say the county has a $100 million budget. All about 2 to 3 million of that is mandated. You got to have a sheriff's office, you got to have a jail, you got to have prosecutors, you got to have public defenders. The list goes on, what gets mandated at the state level down to the local level. And every time the state comes up with a new mandate, the one thing that's really tough on it is they never have any money follow that mandate. So from the behavioral health, as far as the issues there that we're dealing with the jail, and we've done a lot of good things. We've partnered with Avera and Sanford to create the link, which is now having a lot of visits. It's saving a lot of jail time and ER time, so that's taxpayer money. Going to the link instead of going to the jail for detox. All those things are proving positive. The other thing the county's paying for right now is a $50 million juvenile justice system. And the one thing that I will dig into that, if elected, is that that new juvenile justice system serves 16 counties for juveniles. The one thing is I want to make sure that those counties are paying their fair share.
Right.
Because I think that they're trying to say they want to cover the operational cost. Well, that doesn't cover the $50 million to build the damn thing.
Right.
How many people, you got to also, in business, doesn't come free. The Minnehaha County taxpayers are paying for it. So why aren't we charging more to those other counties to house their juveniles? So those are some minor things. But unfortunately, the county runs on a very bare bones budget, and there's not a lot of excess. But we'll continue to look at it. The budget hearings are June 10th, 18th, and 25th. And if I'm elected, I'll be part of that process because again, the primary is the 4th. I won't take office until January, but I want to be involved in that process this year. So I'll be there attending those meetings if I'm so
All
lucky.
right, we want to keep moving on. Anything?
I'm good for
anything else?
now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for running. You bet. All right, resolutions. Applications, agreements, hearings, resolutions. We have a resolution of necessity 2024-5 for the 12th and Oak Street project.
Look at all the support.
Yeah?
I said, look at all the support.
Right. Right.
So this was put together so as we're building this project, we could assess the adjoining landowners. In this case, because most of this project's being paid for by a grant, the adjoining landowners are going to get a substantially reduced rate. Does that sound fair?
That's the statement of the night.
Substantially
reduced rate is the statement of the night, because it is substantially
Yes.
reduced.
Because our current assessment policy is 225 a linear
Yes.
foot.
Right.
But our policy also says we can't charge them more than what the actual construction costs are. So,
Right.
you know, our share, you know, we're only 10%. So luckily for them, we got this 2 nice grants, and so that brings our share down, which brings the cost per foot down. So it is a good break for them. And they, of course, property on corners get a break as well for our assessment policy. The estimated cost per foot is just an estimate, and I told, you know, I notified all the adjoining landowners that we won't know until bids actually come in. It could go up or it could go down some, but that's, as of right now, an estimate off of our engineer's estimate. So, but we'll know exactly when we open bids on the 24th, and if we accept them, what the actual cost was gonna be, so.
So it could be different than what we're saying here in the resolution, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
Came
yep,
in higher than it'd be higher.
yep,
Yeah.
I notified the property owners of that. And per our policy, you know, once we bid the project, we do the project, you know, this fall is when it should be completed. We will then pass another resolution with the actual cost, you know, so they know exactly what's getting assessed to them. And then we give them a year to pay that or partially pay it or whatever they want to
Right,
do.
exactly.
If there's anything outstanding a year later, then we'll send it to the county to go on a payment plan. So they'll have till fall of 2025 to actually make any payments to it.
Good enough?
This includes street, curb and gutter, and sidewalk, is that what this proposed?
No,
amount?
there's no sidewalk in the
sidewalk.
project, the
Just
grants
those
won't do sidewalk,
approaches.
yeah. It's just the street, curb and gutter, and utilities up Oaks. We have all the utilities in 12.
Right.
Then as the properties get developed, then they're responsible for the
Yes,
sidewalk.
just like anybody who buys a lot, when it develops, they have to put in their sidewalk.
Got it.
All right. Actions from the council.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-5.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Does anyone else take a call? Nope. Regarding, did you basically complaining about this $39.35 per linear feet? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I did my little.
I never heard anything, any questions or
I
not.
did not.
Okey dokey.
Okay.
Two available. Two available.
Well, you are pretty good. All right, if nothing, hearing no other discussion, we'll vote. Bowen.
Yes.
Keel.
Yes.
Brenneman.
Yes.
Wassau.
Yes.
All right, thank you. We'll move along to reports. First up, he still is alive. Chief Schubacher. Well, we haven't seen him for a while. That's all. I I'm not saying that smart.
Quarterly,
Quarterly.
when I make it.
And we allowed you, oh, well, you weren't here the last
I
time, that's
was not.
why, so it's been 6 months since we've seen
It,
you.
it has, it's been a while.
Okay,
As
so I
you
wasn't
know,
too far
You can
off.
reach out at any point in time, so,
I know, I got you, my quote.
absolutely. Well, good evening, Mayor, councilors, yes, it's been a while. Good thing is, things are going smooth, no big hiccups, to talk about. Recap, March, we had 41 total calls, so ticking up a little bit again, 16 in the city of Hartford, so staying fairly consistent there. Training, you'll notice there's a lot more on the training list than what's normally been on there. We're really trying to ramp up what we're doing from a training perspective for our staff, not that we were under-trained before, but just trying to go that little bit extra there. So EMS, last night we had training over endocrine and obstetric emergencies. Upcoming in a week, we have a motor vehicle accident patient packaging, and that'll be in conjunction with our vehicle extrication training. So we'll be training firefighters and EMTs on the same night. And also training on water flow and pump operations. One of the things we're hosting in-house for the county, but I believe we have 8 people taking it as a state driver officer certification class. So we got people becoming more skilled in pump operations and the hydraulics part of it there. And have one person going through firefighter 1 and 2 training, and they're close to the end on that training. So. Joint training, we trained in Wildland fire strategy and tactics with our I-90 construction. I was part of a emergency planning meeting at the state DOT office here a couple weeks ago. Last year didn't go bad, but we did learn some things we can improve on from a traffic flow, from a congestion standpoint. So I think between highway patrol, sheriff, DOT, they're going to be working on some things, especially the flow through Hartford. I know one time the call out there, Western was bumper to tail with cars from 38 to the interstate there. So they all realize that situations like that, they can't all just focus out there. They got to get people, whether it's 38 and 90, some different places to be directing the traffic and keep it moving. One of the things that we also put in place, again, trying to minimize that interstate congestion. First unit going on there, it could be ours, it could be sheriff, highway patrol. There are barricades set up on every on-ramp in the construction zone. So the first unit can stop briefly, throw barricades, cones, whatever it is across to stop the new traffic coming in. One of the things unique that the construction teams are doing out there that hadn't been done is they've set up a text paging group for everybody working out on that interstate from a construction standpoint. So if there's an incident that pops up, they can shoot a page, text to the whole crew. And last year, I can't give them enough thanks. They were tremendous out there in help with the different incidents. So hopefully it improves traffic flow in and around through Hartford in the event the interstate is blocked for some reason. Hopefully we can keep that from happening this year, but that traffic flow through Hartford will hopefully improve, knock on wood. One of the other things we discussed was the Partee Drive water supply. There were some concerns brought up, some of the hydrants just having the 2.5-inch steamers out there. What do we have for water flow? Consulting with Craig a little bit, and we had some of our members actually go out and flow test the hydrants and pressure test. And what we discovered is we got a good solid 1,000 to 1,100 gallon per minute out of those 2.5-inch steamer ports. So we got a good water supply for offensive operations. We did put in place some strategy and tactics if it's going to take more than that, how we're going to supply the water supply, whether it's a lot of 8-inch, whether it's a drop tank into the area. So we've done a little pre-planning on that end, just thinking worst case. Not that we want anybody's homes to burn up there.
Is the hydrant at Partee and Vandemark on that northeast corner? That's served by a larger water.
The northwest, yeah, that's a larger supply and has the big steamer port on it. So and that's one we
That's
calculated.
why I get a discount.
Yeah.
My insurance.
If we need to, we'll drop several hundred feet of 5-inch line from that location going inbound if we need to, so. So other than that, just a lot of pre-planning going on over the last while, especially with Maple Pass Apartments. The management out there has been great, has gotten us in, multiple tours, a lot of planning, pre-planning on that, and we even had our first elevator rescue out there, so.
There you go.
So with that, I'm open to questions or comments.
Can you give us a quick status update on the new fire truck? Where's that deal at?
Last I've been told, very end of this year.
It'll be here at the end.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, somewhere around the end of the year, and that's all I've been told on it.
Just curious. I hadn't heard anything about that for a few months.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else have any questions for the chief? All right. Thank you. Good to see you again.
You bet, thank you
I
guys.
was just being smart, I'm glad to see you.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that sounded not, I get it. All right, we'll move along to Economic Development Director, Amy Farr.
Thank you. My information is in the packet. The only update I have that is on there, but just to draw attention to it, is I was scheduled to participate in the Dakota Resources training for rural leaders, April 30th through May 2nd. They have moved that to mid-September due to scheduling conflicts, so just wanted you to be aware of that.
Anything you want to add on the GOED conference?
I certainly can. They had some great breakout sessions. They had some on how to, build stakeholder engagement. They talked about childcare. They had a very nice panel on that. They had two very nice speakers, one keynote at the beginning and then one at the end. And then they did announce that next year's GOED conference will be actually 3 days. It'll be February 25th, 26th, 27th, actually in Pier. So.
During session.
Mm-hmm.
What's the intern gonna do?
If we're allowed to have one, she would assist me, or he would assist me on reaching out, scheduling meetings for the landowners, again, just to do another follow-up on where we're at with what they're, looking to do, maybe if they ever sell it or do something with it, and then other things with the property, maybe working with the attorney a little bit to get some of the knowledge on the background of what we have to do legally.
Is
with the
that, I
parcel.
guess my question would be, because obviously, we just split the roll up. Obviously, you were doing the chamber and economic development. Do you think it's gonna be like 100% necessary now that you're full-time focusing in on this role?
Mhm.
Anything else, Amy, you want to add? Anybody else got any questions? I know the bus tour is coming here.
Yes, on May 14th.
Right.
And I'm working-
That's through SMGA.
Correct.
They're gonna bring the bus tour out to.
And we have two, what was
Well-
it? Yeah, that's invite only.
Oh,
Mhm. And it's,
I shouldn't have brought that.
no, it's fine, it's on there. Yeah, it's on there, but we've selected two businesses that we'll be visiting, so I'm just working on scheduling those with SMGA right now to make sure it falls in line with their timelines.
All right,
Anything coming out of your, where do you go around? Your meetings, your business expansion and retention?
Not really, so far, everyone's been very positive. I think we've had one person actually say, when we ask them how local, regional, and United States government as a whole is doing, they say local and state is great, but when you're looking nationally, it's awful for the economy. Otherwise, other people were saying fair to good. Some people have seen some increase in their electrical, which, with the added percentage of increase was there, is good. Not too many have staffing issues. Their supply chain is going okay so far. Some of them have already seen expansions once or twice. So, overall, they're pretty positive, I would say.
Good. Nobody's complaining about the fee on their sewer?
No.
Sewer bill? Oh,
Nope.
that's good.
Not one person.
That's positive.
Cool. All right, anything else for me? Thank you. We'll move on to Miss Wynn, Chamber of Commerce Director.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm going to start with a favor. I'm looking for some committee board members for the ambassador committee. And I don't know enough people here in the city, so if you have somebody that might pop into your mind that I could talk to that might consider being an ambassador for our ambassador committee, that'd be great. I'm looking for somebody, the ideal candidate would be somebody that has a passion for Hartford, that is maybe more extroverted, and has some really strong speaking skills and not afraid to talk to people. That's my ideal candidate.
That cuts us all off.
There's this guy sitting right, Tony, well, he's got an idea.
I disagree. Have you met Mark Brennan before?
He's extra, I don't know this.
He's extra. Extra.
He's also seasonal.
That is true.
We call them flex. They're flex.
Flex, he's flex, yeah, that's good.
Updates from my report. I have a second member that signed up for the Sign Up Genius, so I have a second volunteer, which is always exciting because I don't like to do stuff by myself. And then I have scheduled the State House and Senate Candidate Forum for Monday, May 6th. It's at 6:30 to 7:30 at the Pizza Ranch upstairs. So I think that will be good. I'm looking for a moderator. I have somebody that I asked to be a moderator to kind of help facilitate that, because that was like beyond my scope of anything I've ever done in my life. So thought I'd get an expert for that. And then I had one other update. Oh, today, the one about the committee is being formed to do the update of the chamber bylaws, policies, procedures, and develop a strategic plan. Today I was on a conference call with an educator that he talks through and provides documentation free to us for the development of all of these things, and had extra guides and conversation starters about the strategic plan and really emphasize some of that. So that was just a quality seminar, and it was provided by the South Dakota State Chamber of Commerce. So excellent, excellent opportunity that I have to do that. So that's it.
Anybody got any questions for Wynn? Don't run.
No questions.
Oh, for the candidate forum, thanks. I think you did that. Was that two? That was one that last round. I think that was really great. We had Bill
Zortman.
Zortman did it.
Yeah.
Is there a way, or are we gonna kind of do the same structure? Or I guess, okay, so 2 years ago you could submit questions, or is it just,
Yes, that's Amy said she had
Yeah.
made up an opportunity for people to submit questions.
cool?
Yeah, I've already told you that you have to submit questions whenever I'm
Oh,
up here.
don't worry,
and
I will submit
None of these
questions.
questions that you're currently asking me have been submitted prior to for my preparation.
Good, that's good, Wynn. Yeah, I'm gonna have him start submitting questions too.
Dude. He has to submit beforehand. But yes, I'm gonna reach out to the community and get some of those questions.
Awesome. All right,
Thank you.
That's it.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, oh, it's the most exciting part of the evening. The engineer report, ISG. Michael, how are you?
Good, how are you? Icy?
Nailed it.
Reports in front of you, general engineering updates, reviewed, I believe, 4 site plans and preliminary plans this last meeting. I got comments from those developers, as well as met with the city last week to review the capital improvement plan, as well as the ongoing design standards, subdivision regulation, and supplemental specification updates. Had some good discussion with Teresa and Craig last week, and we'll get those updated, and on the design standards side, we'll work close with P&Z at the end of the month at their meeting, and then that following week, beginning of May, review that with you. pending their approval. Moving on to project updates, water resource recovery facility, truthfully more of the same. We continue to pour the interior walls. The foundations and footings of the operations building have been excavated and they've started pouring those as well. Interior walls of the Airmont are actually about 2/3 complete, and they'll be wrapping those up in the coming weeks. I will note there is one error. Their site works will not be installing the gravity main west of Mickelson Road. My understanding was they were gonna hopscotch the road, but they're just gonna wait until they do that Mickelson Road closure to continue installing that gravity sewer. As a reminder, that will be last week in May, and they're anticipating a 1-week closure of that. To the sewer that's already installed, seed was placed yesterday. Tim, our construction administrator, was actually out there today checking to make sure it didn't wash away. They didn't put mulch down because of the wind yesterday, so we'll make sure that air is reseeded and then do germinate, just so we get that stabilized.
Right, good catch.
Where are they gonna cut across Mickelson, Craig? I think you told me. Is it right
Just-
about by the fence, that
It's
gate?
close to Highway 38.
Just south of 38.
Just south of 30?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Where's the thickest, where there's the most to excavate?
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Whose idea was that?
That's gravity.
Yeah, okay.
That's it for the water resource recovery facility. On the bike and recreation trail, we did get final approval from FEMA, so we're just making sure that the construction documents align with their comments. There's a lot of back and forth and some changes to the model that we just want to make sure get reflected before we wrap up those plans and they can sit on a shelf for future construction. Highway 38 water main extension, did receive comment from the ANR, working through those and got those resubmitted to the state for their review. Just minor things in the specs, just due to the SRF funding, a lot of it was verbiage, just some of the additional requirements due to that funding. We anticipate approval of those within the next couple of weeks, and we'll provide plans for council review and request to bid the project at the next council meeting. Western Avenue, got those plans wrapped up and submitted to the state along with HR Green, so those are in the Federal Highway Administration's hands for review. We haven't been provided a timeline on their review comments, but anything necessary to change, we'll make sure those get incorporated prior to bid letting, submittal for bid letting on June 15th.
I did have a business owner along Western ask me about the meeting they had, and I hooked him up with Justin, because Justin was there when they had that discussion, so that happened today or yesterday.
Yeah, there's quite a few good questions, but
Right. Yeah, he had a couple follow-up questions, so I hooked the two of them up so they can iron it out.
That's all I had in my report. If there are any questions, happy to answer.
No, that sounds,
Is the 12th Street project out to bid or not?
it's out for bid right now.
It is.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Being advertised.
Just curious, is the road up there designed for construction or heavy equipment, or is it like everything else in town?
It's gonna be a truck road.
Okay,
Yes.
all of it.
Well, going all the way to the Roma Tower and then also going west on 12th there.
Yeah.
The oversized one.
Yep. There's also an alternate in plans for the
Concrete.
intersection of 12th and Oaks to concrete, just to,
For the turning.
for the turning movements, yeah.
Okay.
Stay in better shape a little longer. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
No roundabout there?
Unfortunately, no.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I think they're awesome.
I don't want a roundabout.
I love, hey, Mike, I love them.
I have a truck road.
No roundabouts.
In case you see my trying to go
Nothing
through a roundabout.
Nothing to see.
Lots of them.
The bid opening will be next Wednesday, the 24th, 3 o'clock here.
I know we were having some conversations last meeting about, we're suspecting those, I guess we won't know until the bids come in to see if they're gonna be hopefully within budget, right? I mean,
Yeah, I say it'll depend on how bids come in.
I can speak to that a little bit. I'm Ryan Horn for most people that, or some people that don't know me anyways, but I think right now you're coming into a good time to do that project. Prices have been really competitive, so I think it should come under engineers' estimate.
Good.
That's my 2 cents.
I hope you're right, man.
Look at him contributed.
Do you work construction, or what do you do?
Gee whiz.
Yeah, I'm a supplier for.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I know a couple of pipe layers that will run out here this year.
Perfect,
So
that's a
I think-
great time. Let's start, yeah.
All right, anything else from Michael? Thank you. We'll move on to Public Works Superintendent, who wasn't here at the last meeting.
So I was told that
Man, I'm keeping
it went
track.
fast because I wasn't here, so I'm just gonna say,
Yeah.
there's my report. You guys have
We're already past last meeting's,
The tractor's not up front.
yeah.
and we keep it shut.
I don't want it to get wet.
Oh, yeah, it's raining. Yep. Is it wax?
Well, we got it. I guess, is there any questions, anything on things that are going on, what's coming up?
So advanced
Do
steward
your summer
funds.
help hired?
Got two of them, 2 returners, so. Pretty good.
Oh, I know, is there any way for us to track the activity at Swenson Park? Either A, like by tracking how many practices people sign up for?
It's all on
I think you know.
Right,
Should be.
right,
Right.
Well, we are scheduling practices and games through the city now, so we
Yeah.
have a calendar that shows when each field's being used, or when they're booked to be used.
Booked to
So,
be
and that-
used.
yeah, we can't confirm they're all there, but what they're being booked for, so.
Sure.
We do have that data now that we're tracking it. I mean, sometimes people just go up there first come, first serve, I mean, but
Can we ask them when they book those, like, how many participants they have? I mean, how do we know that complex gets used by 500 kids or 5,000 kids?
We could put traffic count around, at least get traffic
Yeah,
count
speak on it.
vehicles.
Okay,
We don't need to set up for type of vehicle or speed, we'll just put one tube across and
sure.
do it that way.
So
Okay.
Travis, Jenny and I are also working on that because that was one of the things that Cindy had asked me to look into. So she is reaching out when they're calling to schedule to say, how many are on the team?
Okay.
Where are they from? Like,
Sure.
are they Sioux Falls, Crooks, where?
Yeah.
And then how many do you think come with that one participant of the sport?
Sure.
So we're averaging about 3 people per player
Well, that's
that
good.
attends.
Sounds reasonable. That's great, okay. Thank
And
you.
so we're also trying to find economic impact as well.
is she differentiate between practices and games?
Yes.
As far as people
We're
come away,
working on that.
because
Mhm.
I know she was saying like practices, not too many people
Yep.
show up, but games, then
Yep.
they have.
The more.
Okay,
Mhm.
good.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know if we need to put a camera out there or something on that new shed. Keep track of things. We'll start with
We're just
those.
gonna watch the-
Go from there. Sounds great. Thank you.
Let
We
you
got
get
a lot
some
of people
decent
asking.
data.
Okay, sorry. No, go ahead. Finish.
No, you're on.
We got a lot of people asking about the concession stand bathroom up there. I know that it's out for bids, but are people asking any questions, or is it just?
I haven't got any, I mean, there's certain contractors that, I worked with to try to put the specs together and
Yep.
stuff like that, so I
Okay.
mean, should have some pretty good bids.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think maybe our timing is pretty good right now, huh? Oh,
I think so.
yeah. All right. All right, anything else, Craig? Man, you kind of abbreviated your report, I don't know.
This is the longest report I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was a rainy day.
Yeah, time. All right, anybody else got any questions for Craig? If not, we'll move on to Ms. Karen with the finance officer report.
Yeah, my information's in the packet. I will be doing your payroll next month, beginning of May. So if you want to look over the attendance chart, and if I missed any meetings or have anything wrong, just let me know before May 1st, because that is when I will process it, and it'll be in your accounts, direct deposit on the 2nd. Other than that, I don't really have much to add.
So Sean and I will end the season with a perfect record. Cindy missed it by tonight.
Yeah.
Mark, you might have enough for steer money.
All right?
Hold by.
Okay, we'll spend that, we could probably spend that. All right. Thank you, Karen. Teresa?
Michael kind of went over the project updates. I just want to let you know on Western Avenue, I do have a meeting set up with Diane from Rural Development and Sophie with CCOG. There might be a possible funding source through Rural Development. We're going to talk that through. She's not sure if our project will qualify or not, but we have a meeting on Thursday, so I'll know more information after that. Otherwise, the rest of my report, just to give you a little higher date, yeah, we've been taking applications. Craig did hire a couple for the Public Works Assistants. We're still looking, hopefully maybe another one, so we're still taking applications. I started interviewing this week. The lifeguards and the assistant managers, had several today. I'm hoping by the end of the month, we can have most everybody hired. We do not have any applications for the park rec assistants yet, but we have several, more than what we need for lifeguards, so I'm hoping maybe we could talk a couple of them into doing the park rec program, so.
Lifeguards this year.
Huh? We're long, yes,
That's-
it's been 2 or 3 years we've been begging for people, and we are
That's
long.
awesome.
We will not hire all the applications we have. We have about 13 applications.
Wow.
That's,
interesting.
we haven't had that problem for a while, so maybe it's helped to kind of bump our pay up there a little bit. Doesn't pay to go to Sioux Falls anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
There you go. That's
so
good.
yeah, that's a good problem to have. So, like I said, this week and next week we'll be doing interviews, and hopefully we'll have all the positions filled by the end of the month. Otherwise, in an information report, just want to touch base. Dakota Main Stem is working on, they put out an RFP to hire an engineer to start work with planning that. You know, they're gonna have to, number one, do a 2-year study. That's what we're looking for with this RFP, just in order to submit that to the federal agencies for funding. So that's what this RFP is looking for, is an engineering firm to conduct a feasibility study on it. So I'm part of that committee. We reviewed the applications last Friday and discussed it. We're gonna interview 2 firms, AE2S and DGR, or HDR, sorry, is the other one, who have several consultants and engineering firms under them. And those interviews will be May 9th, so figure out from there. But we're making progress. This is, like we said, this is a 20, 30-year project. It's gonna be out there, but you gotta start somewhere to get this connection.
You want to touch on our meeting? we went
Like I
to?
say, should we touch on the regionalization, and you can add in too?
So last week we went to the not first, but since the money's been appropriated or earmarked for us, I guess would be the word, we had our first meeting of the regionalization group. Mayor Butch from Crooks was there, Teresa, myself, a couple folks from SMGA, Sophie, and Lynn Keller Forbes from CCOG. To say there's probably a million moving parts on this deal would be an understatement. Boy, there's a lot of things that are gonna have to be lined up. I guess for you guys' information, I went with the intent to make sure that they understand that the wastewater treatment plant that they're hooking up to belongs to Hartford, and it's gonna be Hartford City's wastewater treatment plant first and foremost, and if we can make this deal work, we'll make this deal work. And I think they understood that.
I think they did too. I think you got your point across.
Yeah. So I did talk with Tyler from SMG today. Teresa reached out to, I think you talked to Sophie. or did you
Yeah,
talk-
that's
yeah.
what we're calling it.
And they're struggling even to get the next meeting lined up with EPA, who is administrating his fund. So there's, I mean, this is gonna be a project.
I mean, there's a template right in front of us on how it should work, and that's request for proposal for an appraisal and feasibility study. We have the money, but what are they doing? What are those steps doing?
That's a great question, and
Why are they doing it?
I did ask that a couple times, and I will tell you, Travis, I did not get an answer. So
Okay.
I am going to continue asking that
I think it's
question.
safe to say there's a lot more questions than answers
Sure.
that we got at that meeting, so
Okay.
I think
I do see
they're
some-
researching a lot of stuff, because
Correct.
this
Who's
is-
researching? Is it SNGA or is it the federal government's researching?
SMGA and CCOG are working together to find out how exactly this is gonna work, because this isn't through the state, it's through, these are federal funds, so it's an EPA grant, so you gotta follow all federal procedures with it. It's kind of a different animal, they kinda don't do stuff exactly like the state does, so most people, most states don't get these funds often, so it's kind of a new thing for South
Right.
Dakota, so they're trying to just figure out exactly how does that work? What do we need to do to get these funds? Yeah, do we need to do a study? Do we need to submit our plan? Or, like I said, I think there was way more questions than answered at that meeting.
But we also made it clear that we don't necessarily, from an engineering standpoint, need them all reinventing the wheel.
Right.
Right.
We have laid out plans for how this thing should work to go forward. We just have to make sure that they will look at them. That was our
Yeah,
point that we
yeah,
tried
we
to
stated that.
We've already taken a lot of these steps we've taken. And because ISG is our city engineer, we definitely are going to make every effort to keep them with their eyeballs on this deal to make sure something doesn't go haywire.
Yeah, and
Because
I-
ultimately, when the pipe ends and they hook onto our plant, it's on us. So we gotta make sure that we know what's happening when that pipe hooks onto us.
Yeah, it seemed like there'd have to be criteria on
What's gonna happen, how do we do this?
Yeah, like
Yes,
simple.
yes. Is it a good thing? Absolutely. I use the analogy with these people that I don't know if they thought it was as funny as I did. You ever see the cartoons where the dog's chasing the car?
Yeah,
The dog never catches the car, so he doesn't know what to do. We've caught the car.
right.
That's what I told him. I said, we're like the dog that caught the car. Now we gotta figure out what to do with it. You know, because I think they're almost, because this just doesn't happen. You don't get this kind of congressionally directed funding as often.
ISG's got a big footprint. Michael, is
Yes.
there anything in your toolbox, so to speak, that ISG's participated in other states?
I don't know of anything specifically, but I do know we have we call it the Shared Resources Team,
Yeah.
and Steph Martin leads that. I think you were from Teresa, and she, I mean, when we're going into new geographies or wherever it may be, she's the one researching all of the criteria that we need to hit on our plans, and has been very successful doing so. So that was one thing I was going to offer up is if we can assist
Yeah, it would
SNGA or CCOG just with some of.
It would
That
seem
horsepower.
natural that they would
Right.
start with our city engineer.
Well, and ISG has also done all the preliminary legwork and figures with it, so that they got a lot of the data already. that-
Yeah, we've already paid to have them calculate that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So with this, and maybe I'm getting the cart in front of the horse here, is this is specifically designed for regionalization, hooking up smaller communities to a wastewater recovery facility?
Yes.
Yes, the application was for conveyance lines
Right.
and buy-in for.
So does that mean that it's our wastewater recovery facility, or is there, or is there another way to, you know what, I mean, I guess I don't wanna get too arrogant thinking that this is ours without actually them telling us that this is for us, right? You see what I'm saying, like, this, I saw that they
completely
were doing
understand. That's why
they were doing a meeting today, Sioux Metro Growth with.
the other mayors, yeah, I
You
see it.
You see,
sent
I
it.
said that, yeah.
About right.
Yeah.
So that wasn't regarding
This one.
regionalization of wastewater.
Oh, okay.
No. So that was through the Greater Sioux Falls Chamber of Commerce, through their Good Morning Sioux Falls program. And typically it talks about the road construction of how to get here from here. And they were talking about regionalization in the sense of at 85th Street, if they have to service a fire and they have a fire station there, then they're not gonna wait for the fire department to come. they'll automatically go fight that
I feel
fire.
better now.
Their
So-
wording was not as good as
Yeah.
it should have been.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I mean, Teresa can attest, I mean, I was point blank with them. I said, this is our, citizens of Hartford are paying the haul in the mail to get this plan. It's gonna be our plan,
Yeah.
And if,
Well, as Mr. Kipley mentioned too, we'd like to figure out how to help them pay, have them help.
have the county pay for it, yeah.
The residents of the county just have to live it out again.
So, anyway, we will keep you informed. I'm really, today my conversation with Tyler was, if you guys are having meetings and discussions, you need to have somebody there,
Yeah.
period. So,
Yeah.
that's so if I'm gone and you need to go, you're my guy.
Oh, gee.
So,
Thanks for the heads up.
all right, anything else you want to add, Teresa?
Just an update that isn't in here, I did meet with, a gentleman from Mid-States Audio and Visual to start discussing what to do in here. He came yesterday, looked over our council room, has a suggestion about a large screen, maybe probably on that everybody could see. Maybe we talked about some sound systems, maybe a better camera system, a stationary one. So he kind of measured everything out, and he's gonna kind of put a proposal together for us to look at and consider. So we'll see what he comes up with.
Right.
I think that'd be at least probably a couple weeks, 3 weeks, but when we get that, we'll look at it and
How much should we put in the budget for that?
15,000.
15.
Not sure if we have enough. We'll see. What do you?
Is there any other company?
He does know our budget, and I said, we'll have to work with them, that means, but the TV system or the screen system will be controlled with a computer that we can put, information directly from an
To the
input
screen.
to the screen.
Wow.
We'd be
Okay.
able to put, thumb drives, you'd be able to control it from your computer, so.
Sure.
So, like I said, had that meeting yesterday and just waiting for then, he'll put together a quote for us.
There are other companies that do that,
Yeah, this is just one that said, I thought it'd be a starting point, but see what he comes up with and then we can go from there.
Come up with a scope of work, ability.
Right, figure out our scope of what we're looking at. And then I do have meetings next week with our 2 new council people, Mr. Horn and Lisa Behrens, if you get appointed, and just to kind of give them an orientation on what we're talking about, what's going on, and kind of get them up to speed for our first meeting in May.
Excellent.
So,
Good enough.
questions?
Any other questions for Teresa? We will move along to old business. Our one item on there is to discuss further the mayor's sidewalk initiative. Got a map done? Or are we still waiting on another map?
So the sidewalk map is in your box.
Yep.
ISG is working with Sioux Valley to get the lighting map
Okay.
and
perfect.
then get that into a format too. Format.
Yeah, we'll be able to add that lighting information to the city's online GIS map, so we'll be able to use
Okay,
maps.
perfect.
So I don't know if anybody's had a chance to really look at it, but just, the mayor just wanted to keep it on the forefront.
Yes.
To see if you guys have any input and kind of, we had talked about it at our last meeting, kind of maybe what some initial steps would be. I think we've talked a few times now about that they have a transportation alternative grant. The application deadline is July 1st,
Right.
where we could identify safe routes to school. So, I definitely want to look at the route or the sidewalks the kids are taking to get to the various schools, and if there are places where we don't have sidewalk in there, that those would be excellent opportunities to apply to get those put in through that grant. So I think that's definitely one thing we need to look at in the next couple of months and get an application in there for that.
I did talk to the superintendent today. He voiced the same thing
Yeah.
and said whatever we needed, if we needed to have him come,
Maybe a letter of
get a
support or
subcommittee,
something.
do whatever to get that information filled out. He's more than happy to help us with any of that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then probably the other thing we've talked about that we can start looking at now is we talked about the unsafe sidewalks, the ones that are damaged,
Right.
that could cause trip hazard or fall. we've been talking with Tom a little bit and getting his input from his office. There is some codified law there which can mandate them to, you know, correct them because they are a nuisance. If we want to maybe have something solid in our ordinance, we could do an ordinance change to put something definitely under our ordinances that makes them come up with some criteria of what we constitute, you know, a safety hazard or whatnot, and then that would give us a little more teeth to say, you have a vertical split of 3 inches, according to our ordinance, that needs to be corrected and whatnot. So those are some
Some
things to
engineer
start.
speak right there, vertical split.
That was actually
I
impressive.
know, it's not, there's vertical split, there's horizontal splits.
Yeah.
We
Sounds
read
dangerous.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
So,
those are,
yeah,
things are.
I mean, we know that this is gonna be a project. This is gonna be a long project. We're not gonna just overnight say everybody's gotta
No.
start throwing sidewalks in. My whole deal with this first is, let's get sidewalks where we have kids walking to school. Let's get our kids safe, to get them to school, get them to the library, get them to wherever. Let's look at those areas that are huge gaps. And let's get that fixed, because in my opinion, that makes perfect sense. And if citizens are unhappy about it, we'll sure want them to come and talk to us about that. Because I think that that's just common sense.
It's a tougher argument when you are putting the children first to counter, how can you argue that?
Right.
Does this, I mean, I'm just gonna throw this out there, and it's probably a topic of debate, but I like the idea of taking this one bite at a time, right?
Yep.
The safe route to school. Would this, and I don't know if this has ever historically been done, but would the school ever chip in anything for that? If we're providing safe, we're providing, look at my tax bill, most of my money goes to the school district.
True.
Percentage wise.
Absolutely.
So I'm just throwing it out there.
Nope.
If we're gonna tackle safe routes to school, you got children walking, I'm not saying have them pay for the project. Topic of discussion is that, I mean, I don't know if that's ever been done.
No, not well. I
I
don't
know.
have any conversations on.
The answer's always no if you don't ask.
Right.
Is, transportation grant is an 80-20, so there'll be 20%.
Correct, that we're gonna have to try to figure
The
out.
city,
Yep.
will- whether
Yes.
we put it on joint properties or the city pays for that, or, maybe partnership with school.
I
But
mean-
that will be a cost.
Seems like a great opportunity for the community and the education sector to partner together.
We really have a nice start. Craig and his guys did a good job of getting us a map laid out, so we have that first step. We're gonna overlay the lights over, we'll know where that is, so we can look at that also. The whole goal is, if we're gonna be a progressive, moving forward community, we need to be a forward, progressive, moving forward community. And, I mean, I don't know what else to, I've had a few people talk to me, people that are not gonna be happy about it. What?
It's always a contentious
For the
subject,
children.
sidewalks.
So,
There are ones that
anyway.
want it, the ones that don't. But Craig and I are talking, so we can in the next couple, 3 weeks, canvas town, kind of put together a plan
That-
for that grant,
safe-
a
yep,
safe routes
that'd
to
be
school.
perfect.
So then you guys can review it and
Good
see if
start.
that,
You could just send a postcard to every resident of Hartford and say, you've been identified as a property owner whose sidewalk is been a topic of discussion. Good or bad, they don't know. It'll fill the seats.
I'll put return to sender.
All right, anybody else got any questions or anything, but that's where we're at, we're just gonna keep it moving forward, it's just, I wanna have it, if we can, I wanna have it on the agenda every meeting if we can, just so we can get an update.
Yeah, we were gonna look at some ordinances from other communities, weren't we?
How you doing on that, Tom, you started on them, or?
No, if you want,
I've
if you want
actually,
to start drafting ordinances, we should probably get moving on that.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
I do have a few, we kind of should have got some information last time from, so I do have a few ordinances.
Yeah.
Did talk to T about how they mandated them, kind of figured out how their procedure was, but, I've asked them, the ones that have mandated, how they did it, and I've also talked to them about the ones that just require these repairs, how's your ordinance state, so, I am gathering that information, so we should have more to talk about at the next meeting.
So I think that'd be the next
Craig's
step.
planning his retirement over there, I can see it. Okay, I'm gonna accelerate this depending upon.
We've talked
what
about this
council
before
says.
at other councils, with other councils. It's contentious.
Oh, no, I got years left, don't worry about that.
It's not my intent to make it contentious. My intent
No, it's
is,
just,
let's keep it moving forward. I'm not necessarily trying just to make everybody mad. That's not my intent. I seem to be able to do that.
Safer community,
Safer,
more walkable, healthier.
live,
Walkable communities are healthier.
lively.
We're living lively.
All right. Good enough. We'll keep that moving. Do a little more ordinance work for us. Tom, if you have any input, we'd sure appreciate that too. All right, let's move on to new business. First up is discuss Minnehaha County Sheriff Vehicle Proposal. I hope you guys took a second and looked at this in the packet.
That's interesting.
So Teresa, do you want to give them a little background on this deal?
yeah, so I was contacted by the sheriff's office, Captain Zitka, with this proposal that is in your packet. What they are proposing is, currently, Damian Carter's our daytime deputy. He is sharing a vehicle with the nighttime deputies. And so when he starts his day at 7:30 in the morning, his clock starts running. He has to drive from his house, and he does live on the west side, into, the sheriff's station, downtown, that. Get the vehicle, make sure it's cleaned out, put his equipment in it, and then drive to Hartford. Same thing going back. He leaves about a half hour early because he's got to take the vehicle, drop it off at the sheriff's station, and then drive home. So we figure he loses about a half hour in the morning, a half hour at night, where he's not in Hartford. He could be in Hartford sooner or longer, there. So lose a little time there. This proposal basically states they are proposing that in order to not have a shared vehicle, Hartford could purchase a vehicle that, a sheriff's vehicle, and the equipment that goes with it. It would still be their vehicle and their equipment they own, but we would pay the cost of it, thus saving that extra hour a day. There's a couple other points they make, if he, gets called out on the call, he's getting overtime, so, there's a little cost savings there. Because then that extra time he's gotta take the vehicle back is, even extra time on overtime. So they kind of point that out. Personally, I do not see that happening very often. We currently pay his salary from 7:30 to 4:30 every day,
So
regardless
what-
whether he's in Hartford or not.
Okay, so that was my question on the contract. So we have a contract with them where they have to be in Hartford in order,
No, we pay him from
Okay.
his start time to his
Okay.
end time, so we're paying for him to drive in,
Okay.
get the vehicle. We pay for when he starts work and when he ends work. And part of that is not
Well,
in
you're
Hartford.
wording that, it's confusing me a little. We're paying him to drive in, like, he doesn't get paid from the time he leaves his
No,
house.
he starts when he hits 7:30 at
7:30, yeah,
at
yeah,
the station.
yes,
At the
yeah.
station.
He's not getting paid driving from his house
Yeah,
to the
so,
station.
but 7:30, he's there versus here,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right,
So that's where we're losing the time.
sure, got it,
Yeah.
okay. So what the proposal would be is he would drive from his house to
Right
Hartford.
here.
Right, he'd be able
On
to.
his time, no different than his commute to the county sheriff's office currently.
He would click in at 7:30, but he'd
Clocks
go
in.
right straight here. Right.
No, he doesn't clock in until he gets in his car at 7:30.
But his car would be.
If he has a car.
But his car is
Or
in
is that his
his,
house? Yes.
okay.
Correct.
So you're saving that time from his house
Well,
to
I'm
the
just
sheriff's
trying to
department.
spin this a little bit further. He's gotta drive in to get his deputy, his cop car currently. But if the cop car were in Hartford, he drove to Hartford to get his cop car.
right?
Oh, yeah.
We're
If
still
you're
paying
going
him
with
an
that.
hour windshield time.
Mm-hmm.
It's currently, given this model,
Yeah.
But you're not buying a car.
and we're not buying a car.
Right.
We'd have to buy a car if we put it in.
If you
Hartford.
kept it in Hartford, yeah, because they use it now.
Look at stuff to get it.
I just computed this proposal, so there's suggesting we're gonna say 260 hours, or, you know, we're gonna get an extra 260 hours of time from him. But if you compute that out of what the cost of the vehicle is, you know, we're paying anywhere from $42 to $52 an hour for that half hour in the morning, that half hour at night.
True.
I've asked Amy, I said, do you see any issues that pop up during those times you're not here? And, you know, we don't get calls. There really isn't. The only thing he come up with, well, if I could get here a little earlier, I could be in school zone a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, but, as far as any issues or problems, you know, besides the mom speeding to drop off her kid, you know,
Dangerous.
I don't think there's,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the real benefit is to us, I guess.
My first feel on this was I couldn't see anything that this looked good for us. But after reviewing it a couple times, I said to Teresa, I said, let's put it out there and see what the council thinks, see if you guys maybe are reading this deal different than what I was. I did have a discussion with the deputy, so I'm not gonna go into that, but I had a discussion with him,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, not really sure what the,
I don't see what would change.
I think the only thing is that time he's at the sheriff's office cleaning out the vehicle and switching vehicles, a little bit of drive time.
He's still
That's
saying
the
that
half hour in the morning, half hour at night.
That's what they're claiming, yeah.
Just from
It's
his
that
house to
time
Hartford on our
that-
You
time,
would
instead
say-
of from the station to Hartford on our time.
Yeah, cause now he's driving from the middle of Sioux Falls
It's
to,
really a win-win for the deputy,
20
because
minutes
his
away.
commute,
exactly.
his commute is no longer free.
That's just,
His
Yeah.
commute now becomes a paid commute to Hartford in the
Yeah.
sheriff's.
And it actually
Like I said, I
benefits
don't
the
see any
county
issues
because he's
happening
driving
during
on
those
county roads to get here.
half hour in the morning or night, and then,
Right, yeah, he's.
Actually benefits the county.
oh,
Gives them
they
time.
get a new vehicle from their fleet every 5 years.
Right, so,
Well, I mean, I'm certainly open to suggestions and ideas, and I like
Right.
out-of-the-box thinking, but it
That's how I.
doesn't look like there's a big advantage given this proposal.
Yeah, that's where I bring the question of, you know, yeah, I guess I'll keep my mouth shut.
no, you don't have.
I'll keep my mouth shut because why, yeah, I don't see why we would have to, it's just an idea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's an extra, you know, we're paying, if you, it's 260 hours, if you figure it, basically we're getting 260 hours more is what they're thinking for, you know, the cost of this vehicle. It's, like I said, it's $42 to $52 an hour depending on what vehicle you go with it.
Right.
Extra that we're paying over and above what we're already paying.
I could really get behind a car in Hartford all the time that he drives through there. And every hour that he's on the clock is in Hartford.
yep.
Like that.
Yeah,
that
but
would
don't
be
leave.
If he doesn't.
Well, if the car don't leave,
Right, exactly,
they don't need to go back into town.
correct.
Why?
Only for routine maintenance.
Correct.
Right, then we'd be saving something.
Now you got an
Yeah.
idea.
Or then, I mean, then we'd be getting something, but right now, we're paying him to drive.
You're not
from
getting
Sioux
any.
Falls.
Driving his
Whether he's
personal
in
vehicle,
a city car,
return
The
that.
county's
Or
giving
county
him a
car.
car.
Either way, he's got the drive time back
It
and
ain't
forth.
gonna happen.
Correct.
Yep.
And it shouldn't take him a half hour in the morning to put his beer in there and a half hour at night.
That's about it.
Or that must be the whole commute time they're figuring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here to the station.
Either way, that's what I'm getting at is,
I mean,
the cleanup
probably
time is
20
maybe 10
minutes.
minutes.
Even if that shortens up to 15 minutes, because his house is on the west side of Sioux Falls.
Mhm.
So then they say 30 minutes.
So tell them we've reviewed it for, is the consensus that we would say that we would pass at this point, right?
This scenario.
Under this.
Yeah.
This scenario.
I got no idea.
Yep.
Okay.
All right?
All right, sounds good.
Tell them our counter is for them to pay for the car and then we'll have that discussion. That's our counter.
I think their whole point was for us to be.
Well, I mean, honestly, their counter is gonna be, we have to raise your.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might be paying it next year in our
I
contract
mean, I
price.
understand what they're after.
Right. Yep. Yep. All right. Thank you, guys. Number 2 under new business, review proposed pickleball layout and release of funds. So as we know, we've, the funding, our funding with Golden West has been approved. Correct?
I probably know more about this than I need to, but I motion to approve the proposed pickleball layout and release the funds.
So
I'd like to throw something out there though.
Okay. Let me second it first.
second. Okay, Mark seconds.
I just look at it as Craig put in, restrooms, second set of restrooms for the park. About the same amount of money, I think it'd be more multi-use than just pickleball throughout the whole year. I think it'd be a wiser choice of funds to look at that than,
Oh, is that on the long-term plan? Is that where we're looking?
I don't know if it's
Well,
in this.
the Park and Rec Board did, these feasible costs, did review
Yeah.
all of these possible improvements
Yeah.
for the layout. Restrooms were looked at with the money that we have in budget right now, and with the money from Golden West, we figured there's about 60,000. The highlighted items are the things that they would like the council to release the funds for,
Okay,
which is 56,740. They did talk about, next year budgeting for the restrooms to go up there and for maybe some additional sidewalks, things that aren't highlighted on here, so they'll be looking at them with their budget request for next year, so. But, Chris is right, I mean, we have a cost estimate and it's part of the plan, long-term plan is to put a restroom there. Just that for this year, they just would like to get a court up, get fencing around it,
Yep.
do some parking lot improvements and some sidewalks, and then look at adding the restroom next year with additional funds from the council.
gotcha.
They were just looking at
Look
the
it,
60.
that parking lot and sidewalk equals that.
Right, but how long has that bathroom not been operable?
We haven't used it for a couple of years. It gets vandalized so bad because the doors are facing the other direction. And if you don't lock them up, then they get in there and vandalize them.
Okay.
We can make them workable
Sure.
for not a lot of money. They're not gonna be ADA compliant at all, so they're still gonna be just, they're old bathrooms.
Sure, sure.
I thought that was for new bathrooms, right?
It would be a new one,
This
yeah.
proposal is a new bathroom,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
But if we open up the old ones, just so there's
okay.
bathrooms there. I think it's been a couple of years since we've had them opened up.
What I'm saying is, those bathrooms have been inoperable for a number of years.
Yeah.
And so I think having operable bathrooms there is important, but you could drop a porta potty there if that becomes an issue.
I think if we need to open them up, we'll just get them opened up. There's water and sewer there.
Okay.
It's just a matter of making sure all the plumbing's good yet. Maybe
They're just
we'll
more
touch-
subject to vandalism.
The
because-
toilets
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
plugged all the
there's
time.
issues with them.
All right. Got a motion and a second to approve this proposal as it was presented. Anything else? Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Bowen.
Yes.
Keel.
Yes.
Brenneman.
Yes.
Wasslerger.
Yes.
All right. Next up under new business is mayoral proclamations. Let's go down here. Sorry. Each year at this time of the year, we have some proclamations that are made on behalf of the city. First one is the Arbor Day proclamation. In 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting trees. This holiday has been called Arbor Day. First served with planting trees, millions of trees in Nebraska. Arbor Day has been observed nationwide. Trees do a great job with erosion control, keeping topsoil, cutting down wind, which we needed the last couple days. Help with heating and cooling costs. Trees are renewable, source of paper, good for wood, good for fuel for fires. Trees in our city increase our property value, enhance the economic vitality of the business area, and beautify our community. City of Hartford's been recognized as by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting ways. So therefore, I, Arden Jones, Mayor of Hartford, proclaim April 26th, 2024 as Arbor Day in Hartford.
When will boulevard trees be planted this year?
I actually met with Mike yesterday. Monday, yeah.
Yep.
He's gonna plan on planting next week, is what he's looking at doing.
When will flags be dropped in boulevards?
I'm gonna be bringing those out tomorrow, put them out, and getting locates called in.
Where can we see who's on the list?
Everybody that I asked is on the list.
Okay.
The one property might be on hold until fall, because if that road gets put in and curb gutter, we wanna make sure everything's in the right spot and the right height.
What's that?
Over by the school's parking lot, eastern.
Maybe
They're
really,
They
might be a
got-
street going in there?
partial, isn't it? Planned for partial for the parking lot, at least paved up to the parking lot?
Oh, with the elementary?
Yeah.
They're gonna hard surface north part to get into the parking lot, yeah.
Okay.
And they're gonna-
Curb and gutter, like a regular.
I thought they were, weren't they? Or is
Street
it just, I'd have to look at the plans again, but it might just be asphalt.
They could cut into my proclamation. Sorry. Sold.
Yeah.
All right, the second proclamation is Silver Star Banner Day. City of Hartford is always honored and sacrificed with men and women in the armed forces. Silver Star Families of America was formed to make sure that we remembered the blood sacrifice for our wounded and ill by designing and manufacturing Silver Star banner flags, banners and flags. Date of the Silver Star Families of America has freely given to date, the Silver Star Families have given thousands of Silver Star banners to wounded and their families. Whereas the members of the Silver Star Families of America have worked tirelessly to provide the wounded of this city and country with Silver Star banners and flags and care packages, the single Silver Star Families of America's sole mission is that every time someone sees a Silver Star banner in the window or a Silver Star flag flying, that people remember the sacrifices for the city, state, and nation. The people and Mayor of Hartford wish that the sacrifices of many are in our armed forces are never forgotten. Therefore, Arden Jones, Mayor of Hartford, I hereby proclaim Silver Star Families of America to be honored and declare May 1st as Silver Star Banner Day in Hartford. The third proclamation is for Building Safety Month. The month of May has been declared Building Safety Month. We are committed to recognizing the growth and strength that depends on the safety of essential roles of our homes and building and infrastructure, both that they play every day and when disaster strikes. The people that, whereas our confidence in the resilience of these buildings make our community, buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire protection, prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, plumbers, and other construction industry workers who work year-round for that safety. We also follow the International Code Council, a nonprofit agency that brings together local, state, tribal, federal to build an environment that helps establish high-quality codes of building. And whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown protectors. And whereas Mission Possible is the theme for Building Safety Month this year in 2024, we encourage us all to raise awareness about building safety on a personal, local, and global scale. So whereas the observance of Building Safety Month is designated in May, I, Mayor Arden Jones, Mayor of Hartford, hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 Building Safety Month. All right, and is a piece of correspondence that we get, really, we get this every year, and let me get down here to the letter. It comes to Karen, but it's about our City of Hartford public water system. Dear Ms. Wilbur, congratulations to you from the DANR for 19 consecutive years. City of Hartford public water system has met the requirements of the Safe Drinking Water Act for the state of South Dakota. It is our pleasure to present the Secretary's Award for Drinking Water Excellence, which recognizes your system and the system's operations specialists who have demonstrated excellence in water system management and maintenance. So with that, we want to thank all of those folks, Craig and your crew, for 19 years of maintaining our safe water in Hartford. And you were here.
Prior to that.
Yeah. So you're saying back before 19 years, it wasn't?
We've only had a couple violations in.
That's good to know. All right, do we have anything for executive tonight? Yes, we need a motion for economic development. Do we have anything else, Teresa, that?
Do you want a little update on how winds,
Oh, yeah, and personnel. Economic development and personnel. Someone want to make that motion?
To executive session for economic development and personnel.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.